Hello Physical Fiends, it is Jordan here with some just announced physical releases. These are games that have recently been announced, they are not releasing this week, and as always, I do not do limited pre-order stuff since they are always covered in Monday's video and there's no point repeating myself. So let's talk about what has recently been announced. Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream, is the big one, obviously, from Nintendo themselves. I find it quite amazing that it's taken this long to get a sequel to the 3DS edition, because despite it flying under the radar for many, that was an absolutely huge seller for the system. It sold more than any Zelda game, any Monster Hunter, any Fire Emblem. It was huge, and I loved it myself. It was one of my most played games on the system. Just complete random nonsense, but a ton of fun. I know this had a Nintendo Direct the other day, but I didn't watch that. I was too busy glued to my TV playing Three Kingdoms 8, the expansion stuff, but I think this is going to be a good game. I'm just surprised that they didn't do a Switch 2 version as well, but it is releasing April the 16th, and if you want to pre-order it or any of the games in this video, then please consider using the links I've put below in the description and pinned comment. Any purchase via those links massively helps support me and this channel in the best way possible. I do truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. VGP are a great company with free worldwide shipping on orders over $75 Canadian dollars. Plus, if you purchase something via my link, you get put into a weekly draw to have a chance of winning a $10 discount coupon. I announce the winner of which every Monday. Aggelos 2 is going to be releasing physically on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. This is a sequel to a cult indie release. While it's abandoned the pixel cover art for this entry, the gameplay is still rocking the chunky sprite work. This is a Metroidvania as you are an angel who can shift into a demon form for a more aggressive playstyle and presumably tackle puzzles differently from one another. It's releasing sometime this year. The Disney Afternoon Collection. I covered this in a video yesterday that I actually made a few days ago, but other videos had priority anyways. Very exciting announcement, not only for the fact that it's going to be a proper Nintendo Switch 2 cartridge alongside the OG Switch, but it's also a bunch of classic NES games. Nostalgia overload, and yes, in that video I did say Saturday morning nostalgia when this package is clearly titled Afternoon Collection. Shame on me. Mio Memories in Orbit. Now, I can say without any shadow of a doubt, in terms of me selling Switch 2 games via my affiliates, it's not been great so far. No title has stood out in terms of sales. It's understandable. Maybe Fantasy Life I did pretty well as an import, but I can safely say that Mio Memories in Orbit is the Switch 2 game I've sold the most of, no question. Why? Well, the price is almost too good to be true. It's a proper Switch 2 cartridge for $30. Even with the cheaper cartridge options for publishers these days, almost no money is being made from this. I don't know why they are doing this. And it also helps that it's a really nice game as well. It's going to be a popular physical to own, another indie darling that's also releasing on Switch and PlayStation 5 April the 10th. Koira is releasing on PlayStation 5 in early summer, only in Europe, but VGP are carrying it. This is a charming adventure game where you are in a shadowy forest and you find a dog that you need to feed and take care of, alongside solving ancient puzzles and avoiding hazards, as you do when you're taking care of a dog. It looks quite nice, to be honest, and reviews for it are positive. The Witch's Bakery, a quick mention to this. I talked about this in last episode, but that was for Europe, but now I can confirm a North American release has been announced too. It's available for pre-order right now at VGP on Switch and PlayStation 5 for proper physicals and a Switch 2 game key. Boo! Bendy, the double pack, is releasing on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5 on May the 29th, and this includes 2 games of the 3 that are currently available on the system. Bendy and the Ink Machine and Bendy and the Dark Revival. It does not include the recently released Lone Wolf. And yeah, this has kind of confused me since I thought I remember, I talked about an enhanced edition of one of these games already. Did I just dream that up? I have no idea. I hate this place is not a quote from me when walking into my job every day, but in fact it is a video game, a crafting survival horror game that apparently nails that 80s vibe really well. It's based off a comic book, and the reviews for it aren't great, to be honest. Apparently on Steam it's a bit buggy and performance isn't what it should be, but the Switch and PlayStation 5 physical are dropping on April 9th, so maybe it'll be all nice and fixed up, fingers crossed. Long Gone Days. I'm surprised this physical took so long to actually manifest. When it released digitally, it seemed nailed on to get a physical. It's a strategy RPG with sniper-based gameplay. It styles itself as being a JRPG-like, and the story is pretty full-on with dialogue options and relationship building with your team. I've always thought this looked pretty great, and I've always been confused why it didn't get a physical release up to now, and I'm still a little bit confused because it's only releasing physically in Europe. Yeah, sometime in the middle of this year. There's no North American release, but VGP are carrying copies of the European Switch and PlayStation 5 release in both its standard edition as well as its collector's edition. The Last Case of John Morley is getting a physical release in Europe on PlayStation 5 sometime in the middle of the year. This is a detective adventure game that looks as though it's oozing with atmosphere, set in the 1940s where lighting is frowned upon. It's a short game, like 3 hours or so. Whether that's enough mileage for you, I don't know. Detective Collection Volume 3 is another exclusive European PS5 release, and again, VGP will be carrying copies of it. This contains 3 games in the series, detective games. The issue is all 3 are like an hour or an hour and a half long, which is a bit of a piss take. Like, how can you build up a good video game mystery in like an hour? I don't know, but again, it'll be releasing around the summertime. Alright, let's take a look at some recent import announcements. If you want to pre-order them from PlayAsia, you can do so with the code Jordan2026 if you click my link, but to be honest, a couple of them aren't probably worth importing, but I still want to bring them to your attention because it's good news for physical media. FZ Formation Z has been announced for a physical release in Japan on Nintendo Switch 2 as a proper cartridge, and PlayStation 5 if you care about that. Now, firstly, there's no mention of languages for the Switch 2 version. I think it is likely to have English because the Steam version does, but City Connection, the publisher, have been known to take English out of their console releases in order to save them for a Western publisher. It's shitty practice, but I won't judge too early. It's too early to say. Anyways, I think it is likely that a Western release will happen with this, so yeah, I wouldn't pre-order the Japanese version right now, although it is releasing at the end of May in a standard edition and a collector's edition. Villion Code, another proper Nintendo Switch 2 cartridge, has been announced for Japan. This one I'm 99% sure won't have English because it's Idea Factory and their Japanese releases never have English. It's also going to be on Switch, the original one, and PlayStation 5. Again, unless you speak Japanese, you probably won't want to import this, but it's nice to know there's more support for Switch 2 proper physical releases. This will be out in Japan in the summertime, and it is an RPG from Compile Heart, which is all the information anyone really needs. Finally, a couple of things that aren't really new announcements, but I think they're worth mentioning, but not in a video by themselves. Firstly, I want to give a quick heads up about a reprint of Censor's Midnight on PlayStation 5. I made a community post about this, but I know not everyone sees those. So this is a PlayAsia exclusive release. It was on Switch also, but the PS5 version was rarer. It was going for hundreds of dollars on eBay, but PlayAsia have done a reprint if you want it. They told me it was a small reprint, and they also did Thunder Ray 2 on PlayStation 5, but that's not as sought after. Still, better than paying eBay prices. Secondly, VGP have opened up some pre-orders for limited run distribution titles that they will be getting in the very near future. If you missed out on the original order period, you'll see that you can pre-order the North American editions of the Toa Plan Arcade Collections Volume 1 and 2, the Freddy Fish Collection, Berserk Boy, and Mamoru-kun Recurse. All of these are for Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. They're supposed to be sending them out in mid-February. And there we have a bunch of new announcements. What was your favorite in this episode? Let me know in the comments below alongside your thumbs up. And of course, if you want to pre-order any of them, please do so with the links below. I greatly appreciate that, and I hope you all have a wonderful, fantastic day. Take care.